Hey guys, so my name is Ben Robinson. Welcome to my new podcast. It's called Let's Talk About You. And so basically in this podcast, we're just going to be discussing different topics that relate to our specific guest. So we have a special guest here today. We're going to be talking about how gender can kind of like impact you, gender roles, genders in society, struggling to come into your own regarding your gender, basically all stuff about that. So our special guest today is Ashton. So let's talk about you. You can just give yourself like a little introduction.
Hey guys, it's Megan the Stallion. So nice to meet everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm funny. For those who don't know me, my name is Ashton. TikTok swag money Ashton Ray. I'm that kid that sits in his chair and says funny shit and has a pretty setup. That is who I am. That's me. That's my story. And I'm quite knowledgeable on the topic of gender. So I'm very excited to be here today. Ben, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Of course. But basically, first and foremost, how have you kind of like self-educated yourself on this, and like how has that kind of influenced your perspective on it?
Well, initially, I kind of didn't have any knowledge about this topic. Like, I knew nothing about it. I thought it was just male, female, that's it. Like, there's nothing else. But then
I did too, yeah.
Yeah, see, everyone does. But then once you like further like explore this topic and hear what other people have to say from people who just know about it and then people who like experience it, it has like changed my views on it completely. Like, I remember when I was in 7th grade, so I was literally 12 years old, my friend's older sister, she was like a junior in high school at this time, she went by she, they pronouns. And I remember being like young and stupid and like, they, that's plural. You can't do that. No, that doesn't make sense. And now I look at that and I'm like, what a fucking idiot. Like, what an idiot. And I still feel like a lot of people have that viewpoint, but it's literally just because they know nothing about it. But
it's frustrating to me because like, as someone who, I totally agree, as someone who's like been in that like mindset where you're like, oh, it's just, black and white. Gender way more of a spectrum than just like, male or female. But, I, as someone who had that mindset and then like educated myself and now I don't, I'm just like seeing people who are like, no, like that's stupid. It like, I'm only calling you, blah, blah, blah pronouns. It's
painful.
Yeah.
Because it's so like, it's like, oh, like if you just like open your mind just a little bit more, like you would see that there's so much more to gender and sex than just boy, girl, male, female. Like it's insane like how much you can do with gender, and people just don't know that.
Yeah, it's also really interesting because like people kind of come into their own, for lack of a better like phrase, when they identify as like what they truly feel they should be identified with. And for people to try and tell them like, oh no, like you're just crazy, blah blah blah, like you were born a girl so you should be a girl, like for having other people tell you that when that's not how you feel is probably so frustrating.
It's frustrating, and I can only like imagine how it can be like mentally, like wanting to be one thing but like everyone around you being like no, and then like a lot of people like get shamed for it, like by their families, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just so frustrating to me. And just to know that like those people are just one step away, just opening their mind and educating themselves one step away from just like acceptance. It's like crazy. It's not that hard.
It's not. It's literally not. And like speaking from experience, because like I said, I used to be so like they, that's not a pronoun, but now I'm like, oh, like I get it. And it's just because I opened my mind just a little bit and then just did my low research, picked up from other people, and now I could like it's just not a hard concept to really understand. And also one thing I find fascinating, specifically for like straight people, cisgender people, like conservatives, like that genre of like people, they think it's so like outlandish and crazy, like they, them pronouns, transgender people, boys wearing dresses, but it's just not that confusing. It's really not confusing once you like understand it. It's like anything in the world. Like once you understand it, it's not hard. Like algebra, when you understand algebra, it's not hard.
Yeah, that's actually like that's a very good analogy. It's literally just once you kind of like, the only difference is like once you open your mind and you're not just so angry towards everyone that doesn't like agree with you necessarily. Like once you open your mind and you understand it, it's kind of it's happier in a sense. Like you become happier when you're not trying to like tear other people down for expressing themselves. I mean, it's more than expressing themselves. It's like how they truly identify and feel comfortable as.
Yeah,
like,
it's someone's like identity, and like if you can't respect someone's identity, then like you're just a shitty person.
Yeah,
Or maybe you're just ignorant. Like one of the two. Because there's a difference between like genuinely not knowing anything about it and then willfully being ignorant. Like, no, I'm not gonna bother to learn about it. That means nothing to me. That's not who you are because I don't agree with it. Like my best friend, she didn't understand like they them pronouns for the longest, but she like wanted to learn, but she literally just didn't get it. And one day I like broke it down for her and she was like, oh, like that makes perfect sense. And so if you just allow yourself to like understand what it is, then you're golden.
right, exactly. So I do want to like, I think for anyone who's listening that doesn't understand it, why don't like, I mean, you're the educated one here. Not that I'm not educated, but you are definitely like
On this topic specifically.
Yeah, exactly. And just for anyone who's listening that that might not even get it, like basically, how did you break it down for your friend that you might break it down for someone else?
Okay. So we'll get to like gender as a whole in a second, but like I want to focus on they them pronouns because this is a very like new sort of idea in our culture, but it's a very prevalent idea. And so it's like I feel like it's important for people to like know about it in order to understand it.
I think it's easy for like, you know, for lack of a better label for like the group in general, but just like cisgender people, like people who don't agree with it, it's easy for them to just be like, oh, that's plural. Oh, that's not what you're born as. Oh, that's, you know, I'm calling you he because you were born as a male. Like it's so easy for them to be angry and shut it down that I think like it takes, you know, it takes education and it takes opening your mind. But again, the other way and like accepting people is also very easy if they just take the extra step to educate themselves. So.
Yeah, it's all about taking the extra step. Anyway, so basically, the way I explained they them pronouns to my friend, because she had the same thought process of like they is plural, which yes, they is plural when you're talking about a group of people, but you can refer to someone as they and it's completely grammatically correct. Like they can be a singular pronoun. And I use certain examples, like a lot of the examples I use follow under like are like, oh, you see a lost jacket. Someone lost their jacket. I hope they find their jacket. That's you using they in a singular form. And one thing that I find interesting is that we, like as people, we use they them pronouns in a singular form in our everyday life, but people just don't realize it because we're so used to it. But when someone's like, that's how I want to be referred to at all times, then it becomes a problem. Another example, let's think. Okay, I got one. Say you go to a restaurant with your family. They send you into the restaurant to see how long the wait is. You go, say the person at the desk says it's a 10-minute wait. When you come out, what's your family going to say? How long is the wait? They said it's going to be 10 minutes. That is they in a singular form. Someone loses their dog. I hope they find their dog. You know what I mean? Or another one that I like to use, what are your thoughts on climate change? I don't know a lot about it, but my friend does, and they think it's real, blah, blah, blah. Do you see what I mean? Did that make sense?
That's such a good example. And, you know, for me, like even just now, that educated me further than I was, because for me, I'm just more of like a genuinely like accepting person. So if someone was like, this is what I want to be referred to as, I'd be like, okay, I'll put forth the effort to refer to you as that. But like, even just hearing those examples, it makes it so much easier to understand because there's like the understanding element.
People just need to see how we already use they them pronouns in a singular form in our everyday life, but nobody realizes it. So when people are like, my pronouns are they them, people want to act confused because it's not something that it's not something that is explicitly spoken about. Because when you think of they, you think a group of people. But in like Shakespearean times, they refers to one person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good example. There's also, and this is again something I'm not super knowledgeable on, but then again, like I've never met someone who wanted to be referred to themselves in this manner, but there are further pronouns than just he, him, like she, her, they, them, correct?
There are this is new to me. Neopronouns. That is something that is new to me. I don't know anything about it. Obviously, I respect it because it's at the end of the day, it's someone's identity. And as a good person with good morals, I'm going to respect you as a person. I don't necessarily get it because it just hasn't been explained to me and I haven't done a lot of research on it. But if I don't want to say the wrong thing because I genuinely just like don't know anything about neopronouns, but I do understand that there are other pronouns that aren't he, she, they. Like I understand that there are more, they're just not common, but they exist.
Right, yeah. I think the main thing, honestly, about neopronouns is people are running around going, oh, I'm not going to call you that. Well, the thing is, like, I think it's a completely different world when you are personally, like, engaging with someone in real life who wants to be referred to with those pronouns, like, because it's, yeah, like, are you really going to, like, go to their face and be like, I'm calling you something different?
Yeah, it's one thing to like say it over the internet. I mean, like that's stupid, but you wouldn't look someone in the eye and be like, I'm not going to respect you as a person. You wouldn't do that.
Right. And I mean, I'm sure there are people who would, but I think the reason there's so much discourse on that topic on like neopronouns is because so many people don't understand it. So their first reaction is, no, I'm not going to do that. And most of those people aren't the people who would go to them in person and be like, no, like this is what you identify as. I don't care, you know, but
I want to learn about it. I just haven't, but like I would totally be down to because it's just like knowledge is literally power. Like the more you know, the happier you'll be, your relationship with people will be better. You will just have a better understanding of the world around you. So it's just like educate yourself. Like if there's something you don't know about, like just ask someone, Google it. I don't know. Being kind of a hypocrite because I haven't done that with neopronouns, but I will because I do want to understand them because as of right now, I don't. I respect it, but I don't really understand it.
Right, exactly. I think, you know, the extent of my knowledge on that topic specifically is I know oftentimes they're used by people who aren't neurotypical, meaning like neurodivergent people in whatever whatever sense it may be. I don't want to use like the wrong terms or wrong phrasing. Right. But I think it's more for people who are neurodivergent that kind of find that like to be their identity. But then again, I think that I think that they still can be used by neurotypical people, although that might be wrong. I don't really know. So
again, because I like don't really know what they are.
Yeah, but then again, this is also it's a good conversation to have because it can, transfer over to people who are not knowledgeable on they them pronouns, like the same way we're not knowledgeable on this. Like we're still completely accepting and willing to learn, where like people who might not be knowledgeable on like more commonly used pronouns such as they them are like a lot of times they just tend to be more aggressive and be like, I'm not calling you that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people are very quick to be like, no, I've never seen that before, so no. But it's just like I just explained it, like when people realize how common they them pronouns in a singular form is, it's just so like, oh, I guess that's true. And it's very true. And also, I guess now I can kind of jump into like how they them works in like the terms of like gender as a whole, because basically for those who don't know out there listening, for those who don't really like know how gender works, gender and sex are two completely different things. Sex refers to biologically your DNA, like science, and then gender refers to how you act in the world around you and the roles that each gender plays. And there's the two most common genders, man and woman, not male and female. Male and female are sexes, but man and woman, those are genders. And whenever I try to explain this to someone, I say this. So think about gender as a spectrum where this is hyperfemininity, this is hypermasculinity. Everyone falls somewhere on this spectrum or not on the spectrum at all. For me, like, I wear makeup. You recently started wearing makeup.
So yeah, so my friend did my eyeliner. So I don't know if you know, do you know Arlene?
I do know Arlene.
Yeah, so I met her the other day and she does like really cool, crazy like eyeliner stuff. And like she kind of takes it like on around her face and does like face like art, I guess, with it. So I was hanging out with her and she was like, let me do it on you. And obviously, like, I'm not gonna be like, no, like, eyeliners for girls. I was like, you know what, sure. Like, I don't own makeup and I don't do it on myself, but I like let her do it on me and it looked super cool. Obviously,
Yeah, the one where it was like crossed. That was really dope. That was really dope.
I think, like, you know, I wouldn't necessarily do it on myself because I'm not like good at it, and it would probably not look good. But like, she made it look amazing, so I was like, yeah, do it.
See, that's the thing. Like, it said that like makeup is for girls, but it's just like it's makeup. Like that, like makeup in itself is almost a gender role because it's specific to girls. Even though if you just take out like makeup is for girls, little shit like concealer, like covering acne scars or blemishes, why does that have to be a girl thing?
Yeah, that's just so crazy to me that like guys could be so insecure about their acne or something, and but they could also be like, oh, but I'm not like makeup's for girls.
I'm not gay. I'm not gay. Like,
Yeah.
it's not gay or feminine to want to look better. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see what is so like girly about covering acne scars, maybe darkening your eyebrows, like just having like a fuller, like more contrasted looking face.
And I mean, like, this is a whole different topic, but makeup is art and it can be like used to enhance certain features, like however you want to use it. It literally has no effect on your sexuality. Like, your sexuality is something completely different than what you put on your face.
Exactly. And like I just said, like, why is wanting to cover an acne scar with concealer, like, why is that like for girls? That is just, that's a gender role that like doesn't make sense to me. And there's a lot of gender roles that I've always just kind of been like, that's weird. Like, that's really weird. Like how like women are the one that are supposed to be like cooking and cleaning while the men are out like making the money. But like, why is cooking and cleaning like a feminine thing, like a woman thing to do? It should be a basic life skill. Everyone should know how to cook. Everyone should know how to clean.
It's just, it's so like it's so robust when you just kind of take out like all preconceived notions you have of like gender roles, and you just say like, oh, cooking. Why does that, why would that even relate to women? You know what I mean? Like, everything.
It's so like when you really think about it, like gender is like so stupid. Okay, wait, anyways, we just got so like sidetracked. Back to what I was initially saying about like the spectrum. So everyone falls on like on somewhere on the spectrum or not on the spectrum at all. And when it comes to, and like a lot of things, like this is kind of what I'm about to say, like this is sort of like my understanding, my outlook on it. Like, I'm not speaking for everyone, but this is sort of like my like thoughts on it. Whenever people say that like there's more than two genders, I don't think they literally mean like man, woman, non-binary, X, Y, Z. Like, that's not what it means. It means that there is just, so basically, whenever people say that there's more than two genders, they mean there's just more than two ways to express yourself. You know how boys are like shorts and a t-shirt and like a fucking baseball cap, and girls are like dresses, skirts, pants, cute little shirt, makeup, hair did. But like, that's not it. Like, it's not just one or the other, because the world we live in is not black and white at all. There's a gray area in between everything. It's not just man and woman. There's people that fall in between or not on it at all. It's not just red light, green light. There's a yellow light. It's not black and white. There's gray and a multitude of colors. It's not like it, you know, it's not just hot or cold. You have room temperature, lukewarm, boiling. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, there's gray in between everything. And I think I'm glad we live in a world where like we're starting to realize that like people don't have to just be man, like stereotypical woman. That's it. Like there's different ways to express yourself. And when it comes to non-binary people, again, I'm not speaking for everyone. This is just my general like knowledge on it. This is how I view it. Anyone who's listening, if I say something like wrong, like feel free to correct me. I'm always willing to like learn and like understand more. You know what I mean? But basically, when it comes to like non-binary people, they just don't fit the definition of a man or a woman. Like there's people, like there's I guess, how do I word this without it coming off as like ignorant or like problematic, I guess. It's not just like I just said, like, you know, boys are supposed to wear like play sports, shorts, t-shirts, baseball caps, but there are some guys like myself, I just don't fit the mold of a stereotypical boy or a stereotypical man. Like I literally just don't. Like I'm wearing makeup right now and I paint my nails. I'm a feminine person. Like I don't fit the mold of what a boy is supposed to be. And there's millions of other people like me who just don't fit that mold. And when it comes to girls, there's many girls that don't. That's why tomboys. Oh, bitch, tomboys.
That has always frustrated me because
you can speak on it.
It's always frustrated me because the way that they incorporate the word boy into that term, you know what I mean?
And it's used to describe girls.
Right. The second a girl doesn't want to be, and I wish this also wasn't the case, but I wish like the second a girl doesn't want to be girly, they're a tomboy. And like, you know, oh, are you blah, blah, blah. Like it's so frustrating because you can, again, it's an outside thing. It has no effect on how you identify in terms of your gender. You could dress, you know, again, this is more of like a imposed gender role, but you could identify completely as a girl and you could wear the most masculine, again, quote unquote, masculine clothes you want. It has no effect on your gender. And that's always frustrated me, the term tomboy. Like,
and that's what people don't realize. Like tomboy and like girls who like are tomboys, that is like the earliest, I guess, form of us seeing like non-binary people, because like a girl being a tomboy, the girl and the boy, that literally contradicts itself, therefore making that girl like almost non-binary in a way, because although she is a girl, she fits the mold of a guy. Do you see what I mean?
And I think if you bring up that, like the idea of the spectrum again, like, you know, she falls more towards the center of the spectrum. Again, it has no effect on, like, you know, if she still wants to use she, hers pronouns, or if she still wants to identify as I'm a girl as opposed to I'm non-binary. You know, there's gender's a whole spectrum, and, you know,
and I think people just don't
towards the gray area.
People just don't know that because it's not something that like we're taught. Like we like, and it goes into people viewing gender and sex as the same thing, because that's why there's like, no, there's only two genders, which technically there are no genders, because gender is an intangible, made up concept. Like gender is a made up concept. Gender roles, it is all made up, and it's just buried so deep within our society that I don't think we'll ever be able to escape it.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to explain to people who don't want to learn, because kind of the way you would phrase it is like, oh, gender's a social construct. But the second you bring social construct, everyone's like, oh no, you're just being crazy. Because I think a lot of the times, like, you know, that can refer to more outlandish like theories than just gender. Like there are a lot of different social constructs out there that I think are more difficult to grasp. So the second you're like, well, gender doesn't actually exist, it's more of like a social construct, then people who don't want to agree with you are going to be like, oh no, like you're just crazy.
Even though that's literally like saying that like gender is a social construct, that's not a matter of like an opinion. Like that's literally a fact. Gender is not a real thing at all, only because gender refers to how the sexes play roles into society. But when you just take that away, I phrased that wrong. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Bad with words. But like, it is just like, it's a made up thing. Like women have to cook and clean. Like makeup, that is a girl gender role. Gender roles for guys, they have to be the ones to pay. They're like the protectors, they're the this, they're the that. They can't cry. Oh wait, let me speak on this. Okay, so the idea that boys can't cry, men don't cry, we've all heard that before. That's a gender role. Because why is it? Because at the end of the day, if you take away gender, take away sex, we are all humans with emotions. Humans have emotions. So why is it that boys growing up are taught to suppress their emotions? That is why most heterosexual, like cisgendered men don't know how to control or navigate or deal with their own emotions, because it's a gender role for guys to not show emotion, to not have emotion. But at the end of the day, we are all humans. So why is it okay for a girl to be emotional, in touch with her emotions, but it's not okay for a guy? Even though at the end of the day, we are all humans. And another thing, another gender role I just thought about, shaving. We're all humans. We all grow body hair. Women have to shave. If a girl doesn't shave, she's deemed unattractive, unhygienic. But if a guy doesn't shave, it's fine. But at the end of the day, we are animals. We all grow hair. So why is it, you see, like that's a gender role.
Yeah, both of those I can actually also speak on from personal experience. So in terms of crying, because I used to be so close-minded on both of these specifically. In terms of crying, I went years telling myself, no, like you can't cry, you're a guy. Literally that exact thought. And I went through some shit, and I forced myself to not cry, and I would bottle it all up.
And that's not okay. That's not healthy. That's why a lot of like straight guys have like anger issues, because they're taught to, like, they're not taught to deal with their own emotions.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously I don't think that anymore. I cry all the fucking time now, but like I just kind of was like, I can't do it, I can't cry. I would feel myself tearing up, and I'd be like, oh, I have to like distract myself, I can't cry. So that's super frustrating that people still think that, because it helps. Like crying helps so much.
Cry it out. Holy shit. Cry. You ever had a good, like a real good cry, and then when it's over, you're like, damn, I feel like 10 pounds like lighter.
Yeah. And it could help so many people if that just wasn't some stupid gender role. And then shaving too. So again, both of these things were kind of before I more opened my mind on the whole concept of gender roles, etc. So I used to be also kind of like, I used to follow that kind of ideal and be like, oh, guys shouldn't shave, women should. And first thing on that is that like a bunch of the guys on my swim team would shave their legs for meets, because it makes you like 0.01 seconds faster, because there's no like friction. I wouldn't shave my legs because I'm like, oh, that's a girl thing. And then like I do remember one time someone brought up that I made a comment on a TikTok like in 2018, or maybe early 2019, where it was like a woman that hadn't shaved her armpits, and I was like, I forget what I said. I was like, oh, ew, or something. And it just frustrates me now that I even thought that. But then again, like I can't necessarily blame myself, because I just wasn't educated. Yeah, I didn't have any like hatred in my heart for like any kind of.
And you brought up what I was actually going to say about how like it's like women not shaving their armpits. Everyone's gut reaction is to be like, ew, no, that's gross. But when you think about it, why is it okay for a man to not shave, but if a woman doesn't shave, she's deemed ugly, unhygienic, shit like that? But and like if a guy shaves, he's deemed feminine, girly, gay, which brings me, I remember when I was a freshman in high school, this guy, I think his name was Will, he used to shave his legs, and a lot of like the guys on like his wrestling team like used to give him hella shit for it. And I remember one day he posted on his like main Snapchat story, he was like, yes, I shave my legs, this does not mean I'm gay, I just don't like hairy legs. And at that time I was like, oh, like, okay, I guess. Like I was like 14, like I didn't understand it, but now looking at it, like, yeah, if you want to shave your legs, shave your legs. If you don't want to shave your legs, shave your legs. That doesn't have to be a man thing or a woman thing. It's a person thing.
And, you know, speaking to you, listener out there, like if you're kind of where I was like 2+ years ago, where I, you know, kind of still followed these roles, and I was like, I can't shave my legs because that's feminine, and women should shave their armpits, and this woman who hasn't shaved her armpits like should go and do that. Like it's literally, speaking from someone who has opened their mind, it's so much, it actually just feels better to be more accepting and just to let people do what they want.
Let people do what they want.
It just feels better to see someone doing what they want and to support it as opposed to trying to take them down for it. So that's just speaking from experience, because obviously, you know, I don't still support the beliefs that I held, but like, then again, everyone's taught that and they shouldn't be taught that, but it's always imposed into.
It's just so deep within our society that you literally have to like take someone's skull and like open it and be like, realize that I don't want to be like, it's brainwashing, but like it's a form of like our society being like, this is the correct way. But when you just like take away like social constructs,
everyone's just a human being. Everyone wants to express themselves. Everyone wants to feel emotions. Like there should be no controlling how like you do so based on, you know, the gender that you are, which doesn't even exist. So
okay. And then I want to go back to the topic of like how non-binary, how that kind of works, because I'm sure there's people listening that don't really understand it. So like basically, like I was saying, like gender is a spectrum, hyperfemininity, masculinity, everyone falls somewhere on there or not on there at all. Because there are people who play with androgyny and being non-binary. David Bowie, Prince, Grace Jones, like these are just people off the top of my head that are like super famous, like big people, and they played with gender and androgyny all the time. And it's so like there are people who look like both a man or a woman. Like you could see someone and be like, oh, like they could be either or. Like we see people with like, oh, they could be either or, but also it's just like, or they're not at all.
Yeah.
Do you follow, oh my God, what is their name? Rob something. If I go off of this, is it gonna like stop?
No, it won't stop. You can go off.
Let me go find their TikTok because it just stopped. Okay, that's so cool. I'll have to restart it in a sec.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Wrote the blog, Robbie, do you know who this person is? Wait a second. Let me find one of their transition videos. This.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
You know who this is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, let me make sure. I think it's he. Yeah, he plays with androgyny all the time. Like all of his transition videos of him being like, hey, what's up? Like, I'm a hot guy. And then like, oh, now I'm a really hot girl. And you look at him and it's like, he could literally be either or. And like, he's an example of people that like exist that don't fit the mold of female, don't fit the mold, or I should say woman, fit the mold of woman, don't fit the mold of man. And he just still exists in his own androgynous, non-binary world. And like, that is okay. And when it comes to sex, most people think there's only two sexes, male and female, which those are the two most common, most like dominant sexes. Yeah. But there are recent studies from Yale. I want to say Yale. Someone can fact check me. I want to say Yale.
On this too, yeah. Go ahead.
Then you might know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. They discovered that, well, first of all, intersex people, this is not a new concept. Intersex people have been exist. Basically, intersex people are people that are born with both reproductive organs. So like testicles, but also ovaries. Like they literally have both. Mm-hmm. And intersex people, their chromosomes aren't XX or XY. They're XYX, YY, or wait, there's XYX, XXX, YXY, and then XXY, I think. I could be wrong, but it's one of those. Like there's other chromosomal like combinations, I guess, if that makes sense. So there's not just two genders and there's not just two sexes. Like science literally says that that's just not true. Like there are intersex people, non-binary people fully exist. And I think once people like open their mind and realize that like not everyone is a manly man, not everyone is a girly girl. There are people that are both like gender fluid people who are some days are like their most like feminine, authentic, womanly self, and then other days they're like, today I feel like being a man. Like that's being gender fluid. And then there's people who live their life as neither male nor female. They are just themselves. And when you look at them, you're like, you have qualities of both. You could be either or. Like that's all it is. Like everyone is just different. Like everyone's just different.
Yeah, I think just to wrap up the like conversation on this as a whole, I think it's just so much more. I think all of this topic, all of like gender itself, gender roles is so much more fluid than a lot of people treat it.
It's so fluid, so fluid. It goes
like
any way you want.
The main takeaway is like take a step back, view everything from a perspective where you don't imagine what's masculine and what's feminine. Like anything, like playing a sport, like, you know, doing your makeup, playing a sport, doing this, doing that, like nothing is masculine or feminine. That's just ideas that have been imposed onto us. You know,
it's literally just a concept that is so deep within our society that we learn from such a young age that it feels like it's a real thing. But when you really like you said, like take a step back, look at the bigger picture, masculinity and femininity, like it like doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. It's not a thing. Like man, woman, gender roles, it's not a real thing. Like if everyone was just a person, only women wouldn't be allowed to wear makeup. Only men wouldn't be allowed to not shave. Knowing how to fucking cook is deemed feminine. Like,
yeah,
huh? Like literally what?
Yeah. And one last thing I wanted to like,
look. Huh? No, you go ahead.
Okay. One last thing I just wanted to like bring up as another point is a lot of people are like, well, there's so many more kids who are transgender nowadays than back when I was a kid. Like I've heard my parents say this, and my parents are actually super, you know, accepting, but I just mean like, you know, there's so many more kids nowadays who identify as blah, blah, blah. And I think like the point of that is they're trying to say like, oh, like kids nowadays are crazy. Social media is like, you know, making them think that they can be things that they're not. But I think the reason is because people are becoming so much more aware of the fact that like gender is a spectrum and gender roles shouldn't even fucking exist in the first place.
And like guys wearing makeup, it's still in some places it's like frowned upon, but for the most part, like in America, like America's society, a guy wearing makeup, it's gotten to a point where it's almost celebrated. Like Harry Styles was just the first man ever on the cover of Vogue, and he was wearing a long flowy dress. Like that is, it's becoming like more common. It's more celebrated because I think people are opening their minds and they are realizing that like gender doesn't exist. People can just be whatever they want and like do what they feel is true to them. Like wear what they want, don't wear what they want. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be like, well, you were born male. Society says that you have to play football and be manly and cook, or not cook, apparently, be a manly man and be the breadwinner, and like the other way around for like girls. But I think we're realizing that it's like, it's not just boy, girl. There are people that are neither, and they are still just a person.
Yep.
But because gender is a societal construct, those people learn that, and then they're like, oh wait, I fit into neither of this.
Yeah. And it hurts my heart to think of all of the people who, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago who didn't really, you know, didn't feel like themselves, but couldn't really kind of come into their own and identify as, you know, whatever they wanted to identify as, because it wasn't as accepted. Because the only reason so many more kids are blah, 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 so many more kids are non-binary, so many more kids are transgender, is because it's more accepted now than it has been.
It's almost celebrated, which is a good thing. Like people being their most authentic self and like being like unique, that should be celebrated. Because I'm so sorry, but like the traditional like man, woman, that is so boring. That's so boring. Like where's the creativity? Where's the fun? Where's the pizzazz?
Yeah, exactly. So that's just, I think right there we'll just wrap up the conversation. I have a bunch of questions. A lot of them are actually really funny.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so first and foremost, what's it like being famous? Well, I can't go outside. It's really frustrating.
I
Everyone,
get bombarded in public everywhere I go.
yeah, it's really frustrating. And I was just at the store, and Hollywood Fix actually flew to New Jersey to
Oh
interview
my
me.
God, Fletcher,
Where
where's
are
Fletcher?
you?
Fletcher.
Hollywood Fix is so fucking funny to me.
Being famous, use that term loosely.
Mhm.
It's cool. Do you get recognized in public?
I have before, but I don't say I wouldn't say like I do, because that kind of makes it more seem like more occasion, like at often. I have before, but yeah.
I can say with my full chest, I do. I get recognized in public. Oh my God, my life is so hard. People know who I am. But like, I literally get recognized in public 2 to 5 times a week. It's very, very, very frequent.
That's so stressful to me. I get recognized like once a month, and it's usually because like kids that live near me have heard of me, because everyone's like, "Oh, like my brother goes to school with Ben Robinson." And not that I matter, but I mean, like, kids in my area like know me, I guess, which is stressful, but yeah.
Yeah, same. And also, I feel like I have a very this is gonna sound cocky. Like, I'm not trying to be cocky. Like, I'm grateful for my followers. I swear. Please, oh my God, please don't cancel
Okay,
me.
Charlie.
Like, no, literally. Like, I'm grateful for it. I trust me. But I think also I just kind of have like a very like distinct, recognizable like face, and like my setup in all of my videos is like the same. It's very like, you know who that is. And I think that kind of helps with me, people being like, oh shit, I know who you are. And I work at Chipotle. We get a lot of teenagers. And it's gotten to a point where every single time a teenager comes in, I have to brace myself, because I'm like, there is a huge possibility they know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
8 times out of 10, they probably do. My life is so hard. Oh my God.
I'm gonna have to delete TikTok now.
I know.
Someone actually asked just Harry Styles ? I think we did kind of cover that. I love Harry Styles.
In what terms?
Yeah. So I think the answer to Harry Styles ? would just be yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What? Oh, this is a good one. What's your favorite Megan song?
Oh my God. Wait. Oh my God. Okay. Wait. It's so hard for me to pick just one, because I know her entire discography like by heart. I would have to say it is like a 4-way tie between Captain Hook, Last Week in HTX, Stally Freestyle, and What's New. Those are my top 4.
What's New is so good.
Oh my God. What's New is insane. It like, that was the song on the album that like stuck out to me the most. I was like, oh, hey. Shots Fired is up there. I think Shots Fired is really good. Huh?
I was just like, I remember listening to the album. It was actually when I was going to see Arlene. It was like a long-ish drive, and the album had just come out, and I was like, I'm gonna put it on like front to back. And I was listening. I was like, this is good. Like, some of them I'd heard before, and then What's New, and I was like,
What's New was the one that like made my like ears peak, and I was like, yo, wait a second, this is something. Yeah, Last Week in HTX, Captain Hook, Stally Freestyle, What's New. Like, those are like my top 4 of all time. But I don't know if I can just pick just one.
Mm-hmm. Those are fucking fire. Anyway, let's see. That one doesn't really make sense. Okay, someone said, how is it like to be popular? We already kind of answered that one. What do you think? That one's too long of a question. This one is so bad. If you could murder one famous TikToker, who would it be? I think let's switch
Noah Miller.
Let's switch it over to just like slap them in the face really hard for a second.
Oh, sure. Noah Miller. Miller. I want to punch his face so bad.
Yep, I hate him. I've never followed him. I'm proud to say I've never followed him.
I never thought N Mills was funny.
My biggest flex is that I never thought he was funny.
Never thought N Mills was funny. Ever, not all, never, not once. So, Noah Miller, final answer. Stamp it. Thank you. No, I'm kidding. I love Noah. Anyway, okay, here, let's pick one last good one. This is a good one. How do you think having a platform has changed you as a person? Okay.
Like apart from getting recognized, like, more.
It has humbled me a lot, but it has also given me, like, I have a newfound confidence because of my platform. Which, hey, also, if any of my followers are out there watching this, thank you guys so much for 1 million followers. That
Oh my
is,
God, I was thinking I was going to congratulate you right off the bat, and I totally forgot. That's literally insane. Congratulations.
that's like, I am so like I cried about it. I literally cried about it.
I
So I was
would.
like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And I'm very grateful for this platform, because if it wasn't for my platform, one, I wouldn't have the friends I have today. Like as I know I shit on Noah a lot, but Noah is genuinely like one of my best friends. Like, he knows some like very personal things about me. And if it wasn't for TikTok, I wouldn't have that friendship with him. And we have such a great friendship. If it wasn't for TikTok, like, I wouldn't be as confident as I am. I wouldn't have the fashion sense that I do, because I would like to say a bitch knows how to dress. I know how to clean up nicely. You know what I mean? And if it wasn't for TikTok, I like would still be wearing fucking sweatpants and hoodies every day. Like,
Yeah.
it has, like, it's given me so much confidence. It's also one thing I love. I get a lot of messages that are like, "You're the reason I'm still alive today." Like, I got one last night that was like, you're like, "Thank you for making me laugh. You're like one of the reasons I'm still alive today. Like, you make my day so much. I love you. Your videos just make me happy." Like, that should be making me cry. I'd be like, in it, I'm so forever grateful. Like, no matter how far I go with social media, I'm so grateful for this period of my life, because it has literally allowed me to reach out to people and like touch people that are like on the other side of the world. Like, bitch, I got followers in Germany. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's insane. Like, there's people all around the world that like support me and like me for just like being me. And that is something that like no amount of money, no amount of likes, no amount of followers could like ever replicate. Like, the feeling that you get when like, like you did something for someone. That is my favorite part.
It's
Favorite part,
such
hands
a,
down.
like,
I'm so grateful that I did.
yeah. It's such a confidence booster in the best way, because like, yeah, you just know that so many people are like actually supportive of just you being yourself. And I think not only that, but like, yeah, not only that, but like it also definitely changed my fashion sense a lot. I would, oh my God, like the way I dressed before TikTok, I would bully myself. Dress however you want, but I hate my old fashioned.
Yeah, yeah. I was literally like Adidas joggers, hoodie every day. Like, that was it. But now a bitch be pulling off some fits. Hey y'all, check out my Instagram. Check out my Instagram. I'm pulling off some fits. Yeah, so that is definitely up.
Mm-hmm. And it also definitely made me, a better person. Like, I've been exposed to so many different people across the world of different backgrounds, different, and not just limited to this, but like different races, different ethnicities, different sexualities. Like, I've just been exposed to literally so many people, and I've made so many friends of all these different backgrounds. I've become so much more like knowledgeable, accepting, and
I'm very, because of TikTok, I'm very educated. And also, I feel like when you have a platform, it is almost your like moral responsibility to like educate yourself. Like, okay, you have like hundreds and thousands of eyes on you, like all throughout the day. Like, you should be able to speak confidently about taboo topics, or some like, just like how do I word this? I feel like if you have a platform, it is like your responsibility to like educate yourself about how other people live. Because if you have, again, like hundreds and thousands, sometimes millions of people looking at you at all times of the day, you should want to know where these people come from and like who they are. Like, just educate yourself on different topics like that you could run into. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, no, that made so much sense. That was literally like the best way you could phrase that. I totally agree. And this is a whole different topic that I want to do a whole episode on, but like the positives of having so many eyes on you is that like it really kind of forces you to be a better person. Again, there are negatives, and a lot of those eyes are going to be not super understanding, but whole different topic. It's honestly, it's a blessing in disguise having so many people kind of like looking up to you, because it, you know, forces you to be that role model. It forces you to be educated. So
it is really, and it is really easy to like, I guess this is what I'm about to say is something that like only like people with platforms can understand, but it is very easy to like get down in the dumps of like, I don't have a video idea for today. This video flopped. Like, I'm so like, I hate TikTok. I hate having a platform. It feels like a job, blah, blah, blah. But then like at the end of the day, when you really think about it, these people interact with you, like you, because you are you. And like you just being you touches so many people. And like, it, like that's amazing. That's amazing. I love it. I love it, love it, love it.
mm-hmm.
I'm very, very, very grateful. Let it be known, I'm grateful.
Me as well. I'm so grateful. And because I've always loved making videos. I would make little vlogs for my Finsta, for my 80 followers on my Finsta. And now the fact that like I can have so much appreciation for the same videos I've always loved making, but now I can post them and
on a much
grander
scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So questions done. This game is really fun. I'm excited.
I'm excited for this.
Okay. So I have 5 tweets.
Like us. Damn. Do I have time? Yeah. We might have to like punch through it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. No. This should take like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So we have 5 tweets. It's either from Quen. I don't know if Quenlin Blackwell from TikTok. We're basically
Stella from Vine. Y'all know who that is.
Yeah. The premise is just like TikToker versus real celebrity. Who said this? So it's Quen and Kanye West. So I have 5 tweets in front of me. Okay. They're funny too. Okay. The first one. Transfer 150,000 to my bank account right now at Lil Yachty.
The Lil Yachty, that was Quenlin. I know that was Quenlin. It was okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's, oh my god, that's so funny because I'm like, imagine if Kanye West just tweeted that.
Quenlin's friendships with celebrities it's so funny. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
Like her being like, Lil Yachty, give me 150 grand. Like that's so funny for no reason.
Only her. Literally only her.
Only her. Literally only her.
Okay, next one. Have you ever thought you were in love, but then realized you were just staring at a mirror for 20 minutes?
This could really be either or. This could be either or. Mm-hmm. I'm gut feeling Kanye West.
Yep.
I'm a fucking beast. 2 for 2. What's going on?
I'm so sorry, Quen, if you're listening to this, which you're not. I'm so sorry, but Quen and Kanye West have very similar energy. The only difference is that Quen is purposely being funny and Kanye is being himself and it happens to be funny.
Yeah, very that. That was a good analogy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This one's funny. I hate when I'm on a flight and I wake up and there's a water bottle next to me. Like, oh great, now I gotta be responsible for this water bottle.
First of all, what does that even mean?
I know.
Okay. Quenlin.
No, that was Kanye.
That was Kanye. What does that even? Me saying what does that even mean? That should have been a indicator that was Kanye. What?
Yeah, I know.
He's crazy.
What?
He's crazy. He's so wild.
Okay, this one is my favorite one. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get through it without laughing. Okay. Men be like, let me play devil's advocate, and then just start speaking in slurs.
That was Quenlin Blackwell. That was for sure Quenlin Blackwell. Men just and start speaking in slurs.
I think that's her funniest tweet. And the last one, this one you should definitely get this one correctly. I am going to beat Joe Biden on write-in votes.
Kanye. Was that Quenlin? Oh my god. Oh, Kanye. Oh, Kanye.
Oh my god. And then did you see that he tweeted Kanye 2024 like immediately after they announced that Biden won the election? He was like, all right, guys, never mind. Next year. I'm like, what? Yeah.
I'm done. What? He's insane. Y'all like the fit?
Okay. Okay, USC. I'm literally applying to USC tomorrow.
Oh, seriously? Are you really?
Yeah.
Hope you get in. I stole these from a friend. I didn't even know that this was a college.
That's a wrap. That was our little episode. Hopefully we kept it short enough. I mean, Ashton has somewhere to be. He has to be at his high
I'm a busy man.
high level businessman job at Chipotle. So
Yes.
we're gonna wrap it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something.
Yeah, totally.
Mr. Swag Money Ashray over here is very educated, and you made some very, very good points and educated me actually a lot.
I know.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That was the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I have a few people to thank because I'm not doing this alone, surprisingly. I was going to start a podcast anyway, and now I have a wonderful team of people that's helping me, which is so cool. So, first and foremost, thank you to Sara Villa because she is the video audio editor. She is my queen. I love her and saving me so much stress because I could never imagine if I had to edit this entire thing.
Yeah, shout out Sara.
Yep. Thank you, Sara. Audrey and Daniel and Sydney and Lou are the directors. I love all of them. I've known Lou for a while. She's my bae as well. I love Lou, but I love all of them. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to Xander, the production manager, and then Aiden and Ari. I love them both so much. They're kind of my producers. I mean, obviously, Aiden is one of my favorite people on the planet. He started the whole TikTok for Biden thing, and I literally would have like maybe half the friends I have now if Aiden had not started that whole thing and gotten me introduced to so many people. So thank you, Aiden. Thank you, Ari. And thank you to the rest of the amazing people that made this happen. And thank you to you, Ashton, for
having me,
being my first guest.
I was your first guest?
Yeah, this is the first episode.
Oh shit! Oh, starting it off with a bang!
Yep.
Oh, y'all got Ashton Ray up here. Yo, y'all got budget. Y'all got budget.
We got Addison Ray up here. Yep. So thank you, Addison, and thank you everyone for listening. Peace out.
Yes, thank you. Bye, everyone.